How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting and welcome back to ReWrite. So, we know we're running more and more out of time. It looks like the key, Kagari, she is losing her, the human side of her, or at least the part of her that where she's learned, emotions and feelings and, how to communicate. It seems as we get closer and closer to the time where she, hits that inevitable, hey, time to destroy the world. Maybe as a pseudo precaution to make sure she can fulfill her mission, the part of her that can empathize is slowly kind of wearing down, and she's soon going to become a creature of almost pure instinct, which is the state we've always seen her in all the routes we watched. But now that we're seeing her earlier in the timeline, we got to see that more human side of Kagari, the part of her that learned, I think, from Kotarou, at least simulated Kotarou in the simulation tree segment. It's odd, but it is interesting because now she's starting to erode, so I wonder if we will be able to reason with her much. And we had a really cute conversation about space flight and spreading to the stars, which apparently is the most interesting option for her. She just doesn't want life to end here. She wants it to propagate. She wants it to expand and grow. And that's same thing, man. Same thing. That's what I want more than anything in the world. But yeah, we're running out of time, so we're gonna have to see what Kotarou does. His instincts seem to be pretty on point. We're gonna trust those, but it's worrisome because I'm struggling to think of ways that this can end well, because it just feels like the scope is too big and the time limit too small. But we'll have to see. We got something. We gotta try. That's the most we can do. But it's also funny because part of me keeps thinking of Kotarou as the Kotarou we knew, the high school student. But this is adult Kotarou. This is mid-20s Kotarou. He's fully capable. He's fully in the means and ability to just go out and do the hard stuff. So you'd think I wouldn't forget that, but it's just we spent so much time with Kotarou. In my head, he still looks like the high schooler. But I gotta get past that. Alright. I don't know if there's anything else to really say, so let's just jump right in. Because Suzaki is the top executive, he can't afford doing business outside headquarters. When he does, he naturally stays in the downtown hotel nearby usually. The Martel group aren't idiots, so the rooms on either side of him contain bodyguards for extra security. His room is an executive level higher than the 30th floor, carefully screened to be difficult for a sniper to see from outside, let alone to actually enter. Dang. So they genuinely... Well, I guess... I was going to say, wow, it's weird that he's so protective, but then I've got to remember... Oh, no. They literally have superhumans trying to destroy their organization constantly. So, yeah, that makes sense. Security guards are posted in the hallway. The entry to the floor is restricted. Even in the middle of the night when he's asleep, security staff check every 30 minutes to make sure he's safe. The security measures are bulletproof and sensible. Are we going after him? A mission is carried out utilizing the following procedure. Now, is this going to be the Guardian mission? Are they planning to capture him? Or is this a Kotarou mission? Gas the room he's staying in. 4 members of the task force break in via the entry point that was cleverly installed in advance. Capture 2 unconscious targets, Suzaki and his close aide. Perform various diversionary tactics, such as unlocking the room. Then escape via the entry point. All task force members are physically capable of carrying an adult male on their back and scaling a wall without the use of a climbing rope. 20 minutes later, it's discovered that Suzaki and his close aide have disappeared. But by that time, Suzaki and the aide have already been loaded into a car and are traveling westward on main road at 60 kilometers per hour. When Suzaki awakens next, he's in a dim, unfamiliar underground room. The men present have not hidden their faces, leading Suzaki to feel his own death is imminent.
Duel.
Oh, bad. So they did it. I thought they were just planning. No, this already has happened. The men, of course, have no intention of letting him die peacefully. Fetch me. Once it's all over, Suzaki is hanging on by a thread.
強引な真似をしたものだ。警告しておこう。私という枷がなくなれば、マーテルは暴走する。お前たちがあの怪物を解き放ったのだ。
He's kind of right. And with that, Suzaki breathes his last.
すぐに情報部に報告書を回してくれ。
はい。
I was in the room too, but the entire time, Suzaki never recognized me as Suzaki Bond. Suzuki Bond. Suzuki Bond. Fetch me!
むごいもんだ。
Thanks to that, I'm able to partake in some major information. I exit the room and listen at the door.
連中も鍵を手に入れていないというのは誤算だったな。
本当でしょうか。
事実だろうな。
なら鍵を手に入れてしまえばこちらのチェックメイトになりますね。目が必要ですが。
打診はしたが、情報部は鍵を生きたまま捕獲することが条件だと圧力をかけてきている。
ああ。
応じなければ独自の動きを見せる気配だ。
独自って？
介入実績を作るつもりなのだろうな。我々は結果を出せていない。
部外者に引っかき回されるのはごめんですよ。
鍵を捕獲するなど認められん。見逃せば全てが終わってしまうものだ。そのことを連中は理解していない。
I genuinely think that the worst thing about like an organization of any kind is the infighting. The infighting is always the most frustrating part. It makes sense, you need it, and it's good to have discourse and like discussions. Not all decisions are made by one mind and a bunch of yes men. But it's so frustrating when they step on each other's toes when it comes to the important stuff. But that's the thing. What's important is subject to debate. And so it's frustrating, but necessary.
こちらの判断でやるしかなかろう。部外者の乱入はなんとかこちらで阻止してみよう。
厳しいですね。
内通者もいるようだからな。
I almost groan.
今宮から報告のあった盗聴機器の件ですか。
Oh, interesting.
会議のスパイでしょうか。
そう考えるのが妥当だ。外野主義者の感じはしない。
I wonder if it's actually Kotarou or if they're worried about a different spy. But it's probably Kotarou. But I'm just wondering what evidence do they have of it? Is it that their movements seem too well trained?
貴様と清水にだけ伝えておくが、目については教区から回してもらうことになった。
根回しの甲斐がありましたね。
外国人だ。目立つぞ。収穫祭合わせの来日になる。任せてよいか。
Interesting. Kotarou is gonna have to take him out.
了解です。今回はヘリ班に回しますよ。
Although I wonder, Asaka's clever. So what if they are sending an eye, but they're gonna send a dummy first? Specifically, he's saying this to try and see and like to limit the pool of who could be the spy. So they say, all right, so we're gonna have a foreigner. They're gonna be the eye. They're gonna arrive by the Harvest Festival. Kotarou goes and takes him out, and then Asaka knows. He's like, it can only be this select few people. So it's gotta be you. I can see Asaka doing it. He's clever and patient. And I could see him understanding that, like, seeing the pattern of, like, there's too many things lining up that somebody has to be a spy, and I can't, and like, to uncover it, I need to screen everybody, and this is, like, his way of screening them. More and more info I didn't know pops up.
指揮所の方は
盗聴器を撤去せず、そのままダミー情報を放流しています。
Ah.
我々は何も発見しておらず、ほとんど生還しているということになっています。どうも変ですよ。これ、ガイアってことはないんですかね。
Okay, so maybe not. Like, again, like, they're even just saying that they put fake information out without removing the bugs. They're trying to, like, figure out where the leak is coming from, which is clever. But that's what I thought was happening now. It might still be, but it's odd that they would then proceed to follow this information by stating that they're leaking fake information to try and catch the bug.
考えにくいが、仮にそうだったとして、主義者側の動きもない。
何か見落としがありますかね。
A third party.
かもしれん。が、内部から分断されても最低限機能するよう保険をかけておけ。
参ったな。
足の引っ張り合いは我々にとって潜在的宿命だ。諦めたまえ。たとえ町を焼き払ってでも鍵を仕留めることになるだろう。
Interesting. Now that phrase, that makes me start thinking down the Lucia route, right? I wonder if Asaka's getting to the point where he might be willing to listen to that group, because that would be interesting. What if this is a world line where Asaka is willing to go the, like, scorched earth Lucia path?
今回は得体の知れない流れが入り混じっている。侮れんよ。
A war is brewing. Probably the final one. I quietly leave.
ねえ、何か聞こえない？
え、何かって？
What's this?
なんだろう、お祈り？
Oh
Uta?
no. They're really stepping. Oh, that's right. That's right, because Suzuki's gone. Now the Holy Woman can really just go full bore. And what's their best path to just killing everything is the Song of Destruction, calling out the key and kind of forcing it to happen. Even because remember they were able to do that even though she was like dead, she'd been killed, but they were able to use her remains and the Song of Destruction to just end the world anyway.
さあ、俺には聞こえないな。
なあ、これって風か？
にしては、甲高くないか？
いや、そんな音聞こえねえぞ。
あ、耳が痛いな。なんだこりゃ。
何これ？いろんなものが震えてるみたい。
Strange rumors are circulating in Kazamatsuri. People are hearing a song not of this world. Some people can hear it and some can't, which makes rumors even more ambiguous. The song goes on fervently, without pausing or ending, as if some inhuman beings are singing it in unison. No news programs report on it. It's only mentioned as a phenomena on several personal websites about occult phenomena that cater to some of those occultists. Kagari is coming to a halt. She remains at the same position, glued to the window. No matter what I say to her, she hardly reacts anymore. I'm panicked. My fingers fly across the keyboard. I knock a fist against my own head, realizing I tend to get carried away with my expressions. Okay, so I wonder if the song also is what locks away her intelligence, in a way, by pulling her closer to that inevitability. So I wonder if he can find the song, which remember, at least with Akane, it was a platform that was high above the sky, and I can't remember if it was in the alternate world or if you just had to use the alternate world to get to it, one of the two. But regardless of where and how it is, it's probably just going. If he could go up and stop it, I wonder if she would come back. I just have to get my meaning across, no frills necessary. I select images to attach, decide on layout, and accurate captions. I feel just like a journalist. Across the sea, Jasmine and the others should be doing the same. Where were all the names? What were all the names? Mido, Tenma, Tenjin. Evidently, they didn't have names to begin with. Wait. Mido. Wait, is Mido, because I remember that, isn't he Mr. Flame Dude? Did he get scooped up with Jasmine and those other kids? Like, was he one of them? And now he's part of the group. That's kind of cool. And then Tenma and Tenjin, those look similar too. I'm pretty sure Tenma was the one who, like, died. Oh my god, that's cool. I was kind of wondering why I hadn't seen them yet, but that makes sense. Like, they were part of the group that got rescued, and so they're part of the third group now. They have a different... Aw, I like that. For whatever reason, they gave themselves Japanese-sounding names. According to Jasmine, they think Japan is a blessed land far, far away. Maybe because of anime and games? Seems like a fun, carefree nation? No way. Unfortunately, yes. There are a lot of, terminally online people who do genuinely, because of watching anime and enjoying otaku-type stuff, start to believe that Japan is some blessed land. It's a nation. It has problems. It's great. I think it's wonderful, and it's going to have a lot. But the other thing is, your nation, wherever you are, probably pretty wonderful too. I recently went on a binge this year and purposely went out of my way to try and explore in my own surrounding area. We went on hikes, we went on bike rides, we went, I got a gift. We got a guidebook that leads to, like, interesting waterfalls in the location. And just that alone, so much fun. Just to go and explore and do stuff like that. It's beautiful, it's wonderful. The world is a beautiful place, and frankly, there's too many wonderful places that are probably overlooked just because they're close by and they're not these big headline world wonder type stuff. Go out, look a little bit. Go read some tourism like blog posts, or even just talk to people who've lived in the area. Go find like an older person who's grown up in the like never left the local area, and just say like, hey, are there any cool places nearby I should go check out? Oh, you will be flabbergasted by how much just beauty there is so close to you. Is it earth-shattering? No. It doesn't need to be, though. It's beautiful. we all live in a blessed land, even if it feels like it's not. Because you could take away... It sucks, because you can't take away things like war and poverty. But if you can temporarily put them out of your mind and go somewhere where they aren't as prevalent, even just for a little bit, and maybe find a little bit of that blessed land that you are on, because the fact that you live there means that there's something of value. And I feel like we take so much for granted. But again, that's easy for me to say when I'm living in comfort and peace far away from war. All the same, I think it's a principle that if someday in the future, if I am in that dire situation, I hope I take my own advice. Anyway, in reality, it's not that a carefree country at all, and Japan could be unfriendly to outsiders. Yeah, unfortunately, that's one of the biggest things that makes it tough. But I feel like everyone does that. But yeah, it'd be nice if they could just come over someday for a visit. Anyway, the kids I once offered to help are now helping me with my work.
待ってろ、Kagari。もうすぐだからな。お前の望むもの。もうす。
Oh, she looked at us. This almost would be too similar to the last thumbnail, so I don't think I would use it, but I do love the picture and the art. It's so good. She doesn't reply. Only her listless gaze conveys her hidden emotion.
もうちょっとだけ耐えてくれよ。
お待ちを。
Uh-oh. When I try to enter the temple, I'm stopped at the gate. The security guard is now a woman.
あんた、聖女会の人だろ。
今日からこちらの建物は、聖女会が独占的に使用することになりました。
Yep. He was right, she's been unleashed.
それ以外のスタッフには、立ち入りはご遠慮いただいております。
And remember, she already has us, like, kind of singled out. She knows we're more than we appear. So, yeah, we're in big trouble now. We probably are essentially no longer a Gaian because she's gonna keep us out.
そんな連絡、こっちには来てないけどな。
緊急に決まったことですから、収穫祭が終わるまで、指示は最寄りのマーテル会館を通して受けてください。
一般会員がいるのにか。
収穫祭が終わるまでは、すべてのプログラムが中止されていますよ。
そうか。いや、しかしな、俺は開発セクションの人間なんだが。
開発セクションは一時凍結されます。
なんだと？
突然のことで申し訳ありませんが、お願いいたします。
I'm practically shoved back into the street.
Suzakiの言った通りだな。
Kashima started to rule with an iron fist, and she's in an awful hurry to boot. But they don't even have the key now. So why?
魔物使いたちの夫人や来世側の状況も確認しておきたかったが、ここまでだな。
I turn away from the temple. Suzuki Bond's role is over. Yep. It's time for Tennouji Kotarou to come back. I dispose of most of the equipment so I can act whenever, no matter what happens. Probably because of that, the room feels emptier than usual. All that's left are items that can't be traced back to me. Compact lines of text flash rapidly across the window, displayed on my laptop. I've received Coco 1010. I've received the plan. There are no issues. We can proceed with this. It came down to the wire, but you did a good job. Yes, thank you. Jasmine, aw. Did you check the money? It's here, thank you. That should be the last payment. Is it enough? Yes, we have a savings here too, so there's no problem. What's everyone doing? In accordance with the report from last time, they've gone on ahead. They seem very grateful to you. They're sorry they couldn't see you one last time. It's better they didn't mess up by making contact with me. You're not going to come back here again, Kotarou? Don't use that name. Oh, sorry. After the update is complete, destroy the physical evidence. Yes, understood. I'm sorry. I've still got a lot to take care of over here, so I can't get away for the time being. Be very careful not to leave any traces. Yes, that's no problem. I'm confident. The Jin and I and the stronger kids will protect me. Then this will be my final order. Let's begin. No reply for a long time. Now? Yes, plan execution has moved up by 2 days. Be prepared to escape immediately. That's in progress. This will be the last time from this PC. Good. Burn all documents. Once again, physically destroy the PC. Understood. Are dangerous things happening? They will soon enough. It could start any second. I want you to be gone by tonight. If the worst happens and their investigation reaches you, I can't rescue you. I know. Thank you so much for everything up until now. After you've all escaped, I won't have a way to let each of you know, let each other know we're safe. Be careful. I want to see you again someday, if that's what life has in store. I want to. Right now, focus on surviving. If you don't, there won't be a chance of that. Okay. I thought it would come to this, but now that it's here, I'm crying a little. Thank you for everything. Sorry you had to sacrifice so many years. Not at all. It was work worth doing. Everyone said so. I think so too. I'm honored. I won't waste this chance to redo things. I'll watch with my eyes as the world changes. Yeah, I hope you do. If the world changes and people can still live on the Earth, come visit Japan. Okay. When you do, I might be able to show you around. Okay. I'm ending the call. Goodbye, my jasmine flower. Goodbye, my beloved one. May you find a good planet. I shut down the laptop. I won't use it again. I take it apart, pour chemicals on the important parts, and physically destroy them. I can't leave a shred of evidence. In the worst case, I would end up dogged for years and years by retaliation attempts. Dang. Tomorrow night will be the eve before the festival. So fetch me, is this it? Like, are we starting like the end? At midnight, the world should start to change. It's a little scary thinking about how something will await me there at the end of my journey.
Kagari. 明日、始める。一緒に見に行こう。その瞬間を、あの丘から見渡そう。地球規模の良い記憶。
Okay.
それが本当に美しいものかどうか、見に行こう。Kagari.
She doesn't turn around. I hug her waist from behind. Her body's starting to grow stiff. It's becoming a body that's not meant to move. I bitterly regret I may have already run out of time, and that I should have taken action before this happened. But that would have meant not getting to see the completion of the theory. The theory. Gaia and Guardian. What I've entrusted to Jasmine is a collection of data covering as much as possible of both organizations' hidden methodologies. Oh my gosh, we're truth bombing the world with this? Oh, fetch! Oh no! It will be made publicly available all over the world. Both the rich and poor will see it. It will teach humanity an entirely new and different way of doing things. Right now, while the planet is drying up, our final remaining resource is our own life energy. The time has come at last to use it. People will change. They will have to. There will be no small amount of confusion, but it's necessary. If we don't master this ability, we'll never be able to carve out a spot in the world. The power to carve one out, and the will to do so. Okay. Oh gosh, why didn't I think about that? I was thinking militarily destroying the Guardian and Gaia and Guardian, but no, this is even better. If by getting information, you're able to essentially publish every single secret they have, every little nook and cranny they thought they could keep covered up, and you made it publicly available all at once, simultaneously across the entire world, and the world could immediately retaliate, that they wouldn't be able to hide, that the best they could do was maybe retreat into some like little compound and wait it out kind of situation. You essentially are birthing like a death because they're secret societies. Now, how do you get people to believe it is one thing, but if they have enough evidence and they're able to verify that evidence and really like pull it all out into the light, squirming and writhing, oh no, oh my gosh, why did I think of that? That's brilliant. Those are the good memories Kagari wants. I've done my absolute best in my own way. Now, it's just a matter of time. Will the transformation we're about to undergo be in time, or will it be too late? It's a bit difficult for a villain like me to pray to God, so I have to pray to the planet. I bring my hands together, my arms still wrapped around Kagari's waist. I rest my forehead against her stiff back. Only 1 or 2 days until the end of everything. Please, somehow, let me keep her.
市内の様子がおかしいだと?
Mr. Osaka enters the command post with several of his direct reports.
ええ。これを見てください。
The monitor screen shows the figures of people coming in from outside the city. Whether by car, public transport, by foot, lines of people march into the city. The wave of humanity is so tremendous that the plaza in front of the station is packed with crowds.
どういうことだ？
こいつら仇じゃないみたいです。
Oh?
本部データと照合してるんですが、見知った魔物使いが何人も混じってますね。
Okay.
マーテルか。
まさか全員が魔物使いってことは。
市民もだいぶ戸惑ってるっす。浮くんでモニター要員は最低限を残して引き上げさせてます。
前夜祭は今日からだが、連中はどこに向かっている？
文化ホールの周辺に集まっているようですが、
市内の交通網が麻痺するな。
まさか連中予定を繰り上げるつもりじゃ。
鍵を手中に収めているか、収める絶対の自信があるのか。
I think what they're confident in is that they're gonna force the key. Imamiya's cell phone rings. He moves the corner to the room and answers it, then comes back.
江坂さん、今連絡が入りました。森の方なんですが、魔物使いたちが一斉に撤退しているようです。
確かか。
はい。魔物の姿も全く見られなくなったと。
Oh my gosh, that's terrifying.
連中にとっては森は緩衝地帯のはずなんですがね。
鹿島さくらの指示だろうな。
Yeah.
あのカレーだ目が。
Wouldn't it be interesting if this was her... Remember how when we were in the theory zone, how she was sending like familiars in and it was like an incredible amount, like to the point where like it was going to be taking the life essence of so many summoners in order to pull off the types of attacks she was doing? What if this is that? I always assumed the attacks were coming from the theoretical versions of her from the multiple worlds, which is why I just kept scaling. But what if it was actually the real one trying to attack the base of the key back inside that realm? This is probably what that would look like if it was just a single one. A Sakura who has the control of the entire Martel group, calling every single summoner together and essentially fueling them for a massive, like, ritual in order to send these familiars to try and destabilize the key way back in, like, the bubble time space.
どうします？
緊急動員をかける。待機人員の風祭り入りを繰り上げろ。
Yeah, this is the big one.
はあ、しかし入りの段取りは
各自の判断に任せろ。目立っても構わん。西九条、京区から戦力提供を受けたい。橋渡しを頼めるか？
あ、はい。
どんな条件でも飲むと伝えろ。
Oh.
飯島と乾は引き続き24時間体制で情報を集めろ。
江坂さん、成田、小松、大阪からの直行便を手配しました。すでに待機中の人員を含め順次風祭り入りさせます。
よし、突入作戦も想定した対応チームを編成したまえ。指揮は清水、お前に任せる。
はっ。
酒井、報道管制のレベルを引き上げさせろ。ヘリも飛ばさせるな。
一般市民はどうします？最悪被害が及びますよ。
地元警察は動かせそうか？
マーテルの息がかかっていましたが、鹿島体制になって以降は混乱の兆しが見られますね。
警備部の災害対策課を通じて揺さぶってみてくれ。私の名を出していい。
Ah, interesting. I like how he's known enough that he can name drop himself and actually get them to listen.
いざという時は市民の避難誘導をやってもらわねばならん。
シナリオが必要ですね。これ。
土砂崩れか有害物質か、どうしてもの場合は爆弾テロということにしてもいい。
He's like, don't hold back.
俺は。
貴様は本部待機だ。いつでも出られるようにしておけ。
はい。
I didn't receive a big mission to carry out.
よっしゃよっしゃ、やってやんぜ。
連絡、お父様に連絡取らなきゃ。
Things are heated at HQ. It feels like the festival with all the excitement in the air. But in contrast to their enthusiasm, my heart is chilled through. I turn around to leave the room. When I open the door, a cold breeze rushes in. I push myself out into the chilly air. People are coming and going in preparation for the Harvest Festival. Most of them are just ordinary civilians. They have nothing to do with Gaia or Guardian. I look up at the sky. Only those sensitive to it can hear the high-pitched squeaking from the sky. It's already so cold, the sky is a deep indigo hue. I can't even rightfully be called a clear blue autumn sky. It's almost poetic. Humans' hearing abilities vary. What are creatures who aren't humans hearing? Like animals, for example. With no single bird in the wide open sky, it's hard to believe it's real and not an illusion. On my way back to the safe house, I throw my Guardian cell phone into the river. I plant my last bug at HQ, prepared to get busted. It was the type designed only to work when a call comes through, and it normally emits no radio waves that could give it away. That said, I know it won't last for very long around the counterintelligence pro.
これが見つかったら、もう我が身一つだけが頼りだ。
It's almost time to die. Literally, like, not like physically die, meaning like his names have to die. He has to become a ghost. When I get close to the apartment building, I find a huge crowd.
どうかしたんですか？
なんだかアパートで爆発があったんですって。
まさか。
本当みたい。壁に大穴が開いてたもの。
Is that his apartment? She points up right at the safe house. I think the housewife and leave. When I approach the apartment using another route, sure enough, there's a big hole right in my wall. The police are there.
あの断面。
That was no explosion. She sliced through it haphazardly. Kagari, she's gone. I can tell this is the handiwork of Kagari's ribbons. Kagari ran away. Using her nearly immobile body? She's been called. She's going. Run, boy! My cell phone's been ringing nonstop. Not many people know this number. As I run, I check the caller ID and sees Kotori. No doubt about it, she sent some sort of omen. I don't have time to answer right now. Dude, that was your mistake last time! Just answer the phone! Ignore the call and bust into my secondary safe house. I use this place as a warehouse somewhat often.
落ち着け。
I collect myself a little. Kotori's no longer carrying any sort of device on her. Kagari's no longer carrying a device on her. I didn't predict this might happen. I have to find her myself, and that'll probably take a long time. If I go all out and search for her, I won't have time to get back. I decide to take care of what needs to be done. I use the bathroom, change out my cell phone battery for a fresh one, scarf down some cheese and crackers. I open up the briefcase, I head deep in the closet. A military-grade automatic pistol, the size of a handgun, and a magazine for it. It costs more to get that gun into the country than the gun itself. The type of equipment that's no excuse to be possessed. I chose something as compact as possible that would serve my purpose. I strap a holster for the gun and magazines and cover it with my jacket. A blowgun to use against familiars, 8 specialty syringes. I take a knife too. Across my back, I sling a poster tube that contains several leaf birds. This is as much as I can equip with myself with. Finally, I grab 2 chocolate bars and stuff them in my pocket. Gotta be ready. There are 2 places Kagari's likely to go. Either the power spot where she came into being, or the hilltop. First, I'll check the power spot. When I enter the forest, a leaf bird that isn't one of mine flits past me.
Kotori?
Kotori standing in between Mr. and Mrs. Kanba.
やっと見つけた。私も手伝う。
Bro, you know she won't listen to you.
助けがいるでしょ。
助けか。
嫌な予感がする。胸がざわざわしてるの。
Kotori, you're the best.
状況は把握できてないのか。
だって小太郎くんが教えてくれない。
お前は面倒見が良すぎるからな。きっとついてくると思って教えなかったんだ。
小太郎くん、放っておいたらいなくなっちゃいそうで。
She's sharp. She knows what she's talking about.
ねえ、どうしてかがりを助けるの？何のお金にもならないし、誰にも褒めてもらえないんだよ。
どうしてかな。
小太郎くんだってかがりには何の義理もないはずでしょ。正義の味方をやりたいわけじゃないんでしょ。
He just knows it's the right thing, and he loves her.
そうだな。正義の味方に憧れてるわけじゃない。結果として俺のやってることは星を延命させるかもしれないけど、家庭が悪どすぎて表沙汰にはできないわな。
かがりを
After hesitating for a while, Kotori speaks.
助けないってのは。
それだと星が滅びる。かがりを見逃せば文明はすぐにも消えてしまうし、かがりを殺しても数十年以内に枯渇する。
じゃあどうすればいいの？
教えてやるよ。人類の可能性。星が人に期待することをさ。
Yeah.
いいか？それは地球を大切にすることじゃないんだ。リサイクルや緑化やエコじゃなかったんだ。
Oh yeah, that's interesting because like he can kind of read what the planet wants from what Kagari wanted.
唯一の可能性。それは良い記憶を示すこと。星に人類の可能性を証明することなんだ。可能性ってつまりな、
のはそんなんじゃない。
Okay, what did you want to say?
約束。
約束？
まだ一緒に遊んでもらってない。
Not only is that a very kid thing to say, it's a very Kotori thing to say. Oh, so that's what it was about for her. To me, that was a tiny little promise. But the kid, it was as big as the whole world. Still, can't give her what she wants. Because I'm almost...
似た者同士だな。俺も、お前も。そしてかがりも。
かがりも？
そうだ、かがりも、一人ぼっちなんだ。
I've known that for a long time now. I just had that sense.
お前には同情しないでもないけど、でも、俺は、かがりを選ぶよ。
Aww. I take out my gun. I fire 3 automatic rounds each into her parents' head. Fetch me, dude! What the? Their bodies wobble, then crumple to the ground. The next thing I know, she lets out an ear-splitting scream and clings to the 2 piles of dust.
魔物になって時間が経った肉体は、魔物でなくなるとそうなる。それはもう、2人が人を失ったという証だ。
Well, that felt very unfair. What the fetch? Like, I get what he's doing, but why?
どうしてこんなこと。
いつかこうしてやるつもりだった。
Just deep in my heart, I apologize to them.
やっと眠らせてやれた。
なんでいつも。
実はな、小鳥。お前のこと、ずっと邪魔に思ってたんだ。
Oh, you suck, you a-hole. Her teary face freezes up.
本当に鬱陶しかったぜ。
Kotarou, stop lying!
でもこれで清々したよ。
You suck.
憎たらしいガキだったからな。ざまあ見ろだ。
あんたなんか。
Determinedly, she looks up at me.
あんたなんか嫌い。死んじゃえばいい。
I watch her run off. I regret not doing this sooner. If I'd set them free outside the city, no, it would have been the same no matter where. It's just a matter of whether my plan will be lucky or unlucky, and whether I can protect Kagari until then. This sense that it's directly linked to the fate of the planet is terrifying. I need some kind of emotional support, so I avoided rejecting her. I put it off and put it off until just now. But now it's all begun. I'm going to betray everything. Wow. Organizations, people, even the human race. That's what it is to ally myself with Kagari.
じゃあな、小鳥。
Fetch me. Wow. I really hate that happened. That's freaking brutal. Now, we've seen him betraying organizations and people, but it says betray the human race. What is he gonna do? I plunge into the gloomy depths of the forest. Early the next morning, the city issued an emergency postponement of the Harvest Festival, and now dawn is here. The Festival Eve events were put on hold too. Decorations were left half done. The town feels eerie, like it's a ruin. Although along the streets I can see lots of groups of people stopping to congregate and gossip. They're trading information in hushed whispers. A reconnaissance helicopter disguised as a civilian aircraft crosses the sky above their heads. A blond man leans out of the helicopter, weird sparkle in his eyes. He surveys the world below. The key. He's the eyes.
森林上空を飛行中のヘリから通信、鍵らしきを見つけたと言っています。
つなげ。
A voice pours out of the speakers.
こちらスカイフィッシュ2。先ほどからヒューイット氏が特殊な発光体が森林をゆっくりと移動していると言っています。か乱能力の効果範囲は死には発光して見えるそうです。
魔物と見間違いではないのか。
魔物ではないそうです。特殊な色、オーロラのようだと。場所は
The coordinates and destination it's moving in are given.
わかった。そのまま監視を続けたまえ。
He ends the transmission.
鍵はすぐにでも抑えねばならんが、抵抗がないことが
罠ですかね。
向こうが鍵を捕捉していれば罠も意味があるだろうが、まるで鍵がどこにいても構わないといった風ではないか。
Yeah.
現場離れてしばらくだからよ。どうも判断がつかねえんだが、鍵を潰してしまえばいいことだと思うが、ヘリの連中だけでちょっと降りてよ。やっちまえばいいじゃねえか。
あれは教区から借りたスタッフだ。余計な情報は与えたくない。鍵の処理は我々の手で行わねばならん。
めんどくせえ話だ。
主義者たちの様子は？
神殿を中心に市街で一夜を明かしたようです。炊き出しもしていますね。
主要道路を塞いでいますね。こりゃ。
Yeah.
警察が解散を求めていますが、動く様子はありません。現在もなお市外から集まってきて増える一方です。
Whatever she's doing, she's literally throwing everything she has at it.
嫌な光景ですね。なんというか、後先考えてないっていうか、まるで明日にでも世界が。
Yeah, exactly.
あり得るかもしれんな。
なんだよ。まるで明日にでもなんだって？
A long silence.
清水、マイクは使えるか？
ビル内だけですが。
それでいい。風祭り特殊鳥獣対策室、室長代理の江坂草原だ。みんな現在、状況は極めて危険な段階にある。我々は長年、鍵をめぐり、この土地で外野主義との闘争に身を投じてきた。すべては、鍵を打ち滅ぼすためである。危機感の足りぬ者どもは、鍵を確保すべきというが、それは間違いだ。なぜなら鍵とは、人類そのものを根絶やしにする抗体反応のようなものだからだ。
An immune response. But ironically, the immune response to humanity, like we are a disease, a virus.
鍵が生まれたことは、我々人類の活動が地球にとって有害であることを示している。だが、では、黙って滅ぼされるのか？そんなことは断じて認められないはずだ。鍵を信奉する者たちは、自らの命を盾にすることで、こちらの非人道的行いを浮き彫りにしようとしている。だが彼らは死を望み、罪なき人々を巻き込むことを厭わない者たちである。これは惑星規模のテロリズムである。
Interesting precision.
守護者としての存在意義、そして一個の人としての生存本能を信じよ。
Well,
その手を血で汚すことを恐れてはならん。
I was gonna say the music is banging right now.
善の理念ではなせぬことをなすために、我々は暗闇の中を歩んできたのだ。
God, I wish I could just go along with you. It's a good speech. Suddenly, the speech cuts off. No sound is coming from my device. I try dialing 117 to get the time. It doesn't connect. I check the coordinates I just heard against the map. She's relatively close by. She's heading for the hilltop. I worried when she wasn't at the power spot, but it looks like I can intercept her easily. But before that, I look up at the helicopter overhead, visible between the branches. Despite its fairly high altitude, I felt an intense gaze sweeping across the forest for a while now. On board is someone with enhanced eyesight that the diocese dispatched urgently. He won't just possess the ability to see Kagari. If I expose myself by taking just one step outside the tree canopy, he'll detect me too. Even if I take the risk, he's still an obstacle in my path. My bullets won't reach him. But if I changed that... Oh, here we go again. We're doing it. This was my only choice from the start. It really is, yeah! I close my eyes, call my mind what I need. I remember Luis, his ability. Where did that come from? My consciousness goes fuzzy. I hallucinate. My memories of a distant past. Memories of the human race that are separate from our genes. A half-naked man holds a spear. His physique is entirely unlike that of modern-day humans. His skeleton, the size of his brain, everything. Up ahead of him, a gigantic bird calmly swoops across the sky. Up high and far away. A distance too far to possibly reach. But he tries. This is the far distant past before any recorded history. During the process of unrecorded history, some challenged the limits of what was humanly possible. In this man's era, he was one of only a few who did. But they did exist. There were a surprising number of them, in fact, if we follow along the flow of time and count them up. The very first person failed. So did the second. So did the 100th. Those thousands stolen wings for the first time. They kept up the pursuit relentlessly. The first success came several thousand years ago, quite recently, historically speaking. An acquired characteristic. A phenomena whereby an ability is gained and not inherited. The very act of retrieving that ability holds the essence of what is to become a superhuman. The ability will flash into the mind, striking the most primitive part of the brain. Therefore, theories cannot explain it. It's simply mastery of instinct and senses, intuitive understanding. And his mastery of his blood and body autonomy, he might be able to recreate it? That's amazing. And when that miraculous ability is performed by someone with the body and physical attributes of a superhuman, that elevates it from merely superhuman-like to true superhuman ability. At some point, a small spear has materialized in my grip. Not a spear, a tree branch. Unconsciously, I've selected something the size and weight most resembling a spear from the dense trees around me. Blood covers the surface of the branch. My blood streaming from my wrist. The thing that gives me life is flowing out. As if on its own volition, it has diverged from me to reinforce every part of me. The blood forms a red linear motif, a coincidentally tribal-looking design, then it's complete.
Luis, 技を借りるよ.
I hold the spear ready. I know how to throw it. All of them taught me. What a freaking monster! I make a short run up, then a rapid shift of my body weight, and it's like I'm throwing my whole body to the ground. All that momentum goes straight to my right hand. Oh, look at that! Oh, it's so cool! I said the spear's soaring, and it zips through the air at supernatural speed. The blonde man turns back my direction, perhaps sensing something strange. With his enhanced eyesight, he should be able to see the spear hurtling right for his own forehead. It's only a small branch, but its penetrative abilities rival an armor-piercing bullet. It shoots clean through the man's head and blows up the base of the helicopter's main rotor. Oh. Helicopter crashes into the woods in a burst of flames and black smoke. Now, there might be other superhumans on board, though. For a price, I can obtain top-notch superhuman abilities. For a price. You can see it even over my clothes. That's how much my knees have hardened like shells and how much my right hand has swollen up. Other joints all over my body ache. Abilities the human body cannot physically express incur changes in form. So he's turning inhuman. Yeah, oh man, Kotarou. He's gonna burn out, isn't he? He's going to become a familiar. He's going to become inhuman in his defense of trying to save Kagari. Because he's going to... Maybe that's what he meant by betray humanity. His humanity. I'll get found right away here. I have to meet up with Kagari before Guardian's immediate response team mobilizes. After a little while, I emerged into Kagari's trail. Her tracks are much too obvious. Anyone chasing her could find her right away. There are countless scratches in the branches and tree trunks around. It would appear that in order to compensate for her stiff legs, she's using her ribbons to rake up everything in her path and move forward that way. I don't have time to camouflage myself. Soon enough, I catch sight of her from behind.
Kagari!
Oh, poor Kagari. She's practically crawling by this point. Her pace is extremely slow.
Kagari, ルートを外れるぞ.
I speak to her, but she doesn't react. I go ahead and pick her up. Fortunately, she doesn't resist or attack me with ribbons. I identify a bare rock off to the side to detour across to avoid leaving tracks. I find a little creek. Moving into the water, I let the current take us downstream. I don't think it's enough to throw them off entirely, but it should buy us some time. It'd be difficult to hide out in the city with her like this. Maybe we should just escape already. I have a getaway vehicle parked in town.
Kagari, ハイキングは中止だ. 逃げるぞ.
あなたは?
She mutters, seeming to have come back to her senses.
いいぞ、Kagari. そのまま正気を保っていてくれ.
星が消えてしまう。
まだわからない。見届けるまで諦めるな。もうすぐなんだ。もうちょっとだけ我慢してくれ。
人滅びて。
考えるな。もうじき世界は変わるんだ。ガーディアンとガイアの闘争も。
Along the way, my ears start ringing. There it is. Oh, we gotta stop that.
歌が強まってる。
The song and I really don't get along. It permeates deep into my senses.
それにさっきから胸騒ぎがするな。
I can't calm down. It's like a gun is constantly pointed at me. Either I'm being monitored or... As I run, I open up the tube and let my leaf birds out. I fan them out behind me. But after a while, the connection fizzles out one by one. The birds have gotten destroyed before they could detect my assailant.
追われてるのか?
Despair darkens my heart. Why didn't I turn my strength on something else? If I hate this world, I should have gotten as far away as possible. Up to and including leaving the planet. Take some familiar off idle mode to summon them. All I can do is set some familiars on whoever's behind us and use the confusion to get away. Suddenly, Kagari spasms in my arms. She lets out a high-pitched scream. Forgetting all danger, I come to a halt, paralyzed with terror. She's in pain, pressing her hands to her chest. Fresh green buds sprout from between her fingers. The song. Her fingertips split apart and open into leaves. Her ribbons darken like dead, dry leaves and disintegrate. Oh, fetch me. She's trying to turn into a tree. She sounds resigned. Just then, her transformation speeds up. She was using the force of her will to hold it in, but now the restraints have come off. The choir. If that's some sort of special selection of only the top summoners, creating a familiar means shaving off some of your own life energy. You're processing your own energy. Organic intervention. Destruction cannot be caused by human will alone. However, if it's just about one final push and Kagari's presence of mind has been the thing holding it all back, now I know what I have to do. I have to stop the song before this holy call has fatal effect on Kagari and the world. Fetch me! Screw it, we're just going. The familiars are positioned behind my pursuer. I tap into their senses. I can see a man I've talked to many times before. Oh no. I gave the order to attack. 4 large familiars run through the man from behind. With Kagari in my arms, I run toward the hole in the encirclement. I realize the sense of bloodlust that was thick in this entire area has vanished. In fact, it's gone the opposite direction, so I slip out of the encirclement. But I can still feel one person's very persistent desire to see us dead. I can run pretty fast with how much I enhance my legs, but they're slowly, steadily closing the gap between us. Just one person. But they're powerful. Their tenacious hostility sends chills up my spine. We're just gonna keep going on it. Rewrite and counterattack. I decide that unless I take them down, they'll chase me forever.
Kagari.
I lay her on the ground. I retrace my steps back a little and focus my mind. I rewrite myself for the second time. From the spring deep within my being, I draw up water known as life energy. The spring is almost dry. All humans are born with a fixed supply of this water. You cannot do anything to increase your life energy water. You can lose it. If you lose it, your life ends. I draw up a whole bowl of it. My skeleton warps and my flesh heats up. The proteins in parts of my body that are above a certain temperature are destroyed, resulting in a partial breakdown of bodily functions. But even that can be miraculously reinforced and turned into something else. I partially transformed into a familiar. I have no need to keep a human form. Just as the procedure finishes, the source of hostility appears right before me. Intense pain rips through my chest. I fall to my knees, feeling woozy. Clenching my teeth against the pain, I just barely managed to ride it out. That just now was heart failure. Proof my physical body is throwing in the towel after successive rewrites. His body's like, I'm done. Just, why even try? Look at my hands, let out a groan. These are no longer human hands. They're deformed. But my strength is like one that is now unparalleled compared to what it was. I'm still able to hold a gun. I crouch down and hold it ready. I wish I could see what he looks like. Just before the enemy makes contact, their presence vanishes into the thin air. A faint vibration comes through the tree trunk I've been leaning against. Someone has leaped up, grazed against the upper part of the trunk. I jump back. From above, the tip of a sword shoots down and sticks into the ground, not too deeply. Our pursuer gets to his feet calmly. I knew it. Oh man. I thought it might be him. So he's come forward of his own accord. I have nothing to say to him. He discovered my betrayal. His animosity is obvious. So I too follow the way of the soldiers, simply tip the muzzle of my gun and pull the trigger. Perfectly controlling the recoil with my arm strength, I fire off full automatic shots. With his eyes trained on the line of fire, Mr. Asaka crouches and aims one sharp thrust of his sword at me. His sudden one-handed stab displays extraordinary reach. I was on my guard, but I still end up getting my pointer finger cut off along with the trigger. Dropping the gun, I pull out a knife with my left hand. Scraping his blade along the ground, he slices upwards. Just as I'm about to stop it with my knife, warning bells go off in my head. I bend to one side. The sword goes through my knife like butter, cutting it clean in half. If I'd made that call just a second later, my face would be split down the middle. A sword that could cut through iron. It's incredibly basic, but there's nothing more you'd want for a close combat fight to the death. Asaka stomps forward with a lunge, an effect that cancels out the inertia from his lifted blade, transforming it into a downward swing from an overhead position. With my inhuman length strength, I dash to the side. If your downward sword thrust misses, that leaves you open for a significant interval. You need some time to kill your momentum and readjust your grip on the blade. Ignoring all that common sense, he's hot on my heels as he swings back out horizontally at almost the same speed, aiming for my cheek. I make a sharp step backward, the tip of the blade will still barely swipe me. I focus my undivided attention on dodging. His flurry of physics-defying attacks omits any sort of transition between moves. All I can do is evade the blows I can't hope to parry away. With the choices I normally would have been able to make hacked away, I'm getting pushed toward the ends he intends for me. And can sense my death in just 7 more moves. My final chance to turn things around is 1 move ahead. Amidst the horror of reality, I desperately rack my brain. Here we go. Guard with my arms, ... That doesn't sound very optimistic. Seems like that's my only option. Changing my initial torrent of life force to oil, I purposely hit against the flurry of chaotic attacks. It's my attributes against my opponents. Trusting that they equal out, I claw my way out of a hopeless situation and put everything on the line. The blade cuts my grotesquely mutilated right hand. Silently, it begins to slice it off. Once it goes past my numb outer layer of skin, a delayed jolt of pain hits. Hot blood spills out, forming a dark red stain on the ground. If the blade ends up cutting all the way through, the tip will gouge my carotid artery, too. One way or another. Leaving my fate up to my abilities, I bear through the pain and await the end. The sword tip swings halfway through my wrist. Asaka falls motionless, along with his kaleidoscopic swordplay. My end that I imagined comes several moves ahead, receding far into the distance. I kicked up my knee at exactly the time as he tried to knee me, and our knees collide, the move misfiring. Because we're a lot sturdier. And I wonder if what happened is the blade hit his bone, but his bones are now so enforced, they're like adamantium, just when it goes, kung. So it should have sliced straight through, but it just stopped. And that would immediately put him in a vulnerable position. The impact recoils on both of us, dislodging his blade. I throw a syringe at his nose. He notices that there's liquid inside and defends against the barrel of it with the flat of his blade, not slicing through it or catching it. The syringe contains an anti-familiar poison that wouldn't have had a significant effect on humans. But there's no way anyone could see through that in an instant unless they had superhuman eyesight. Now that I've wrenched open a gap in the non-stop attacks, I can't pass it up. He's got a sword that can cut anything in 2, while my opponents are melee and low firepower ability. Well, my options are melee and low firepower abilities. Odds are good he'll win. My odds are more like a few percentage points of that. I can proudly say that we're evenly matched in terms of ability, but unfortunately they're all too incompatible. I'm a huge disadvantage fighting off lethal amputation attacks with my bare hands. Betting it all, I throw myself into a thick mire of low probabilities. Ooh, again, dun dun dun. Fail, 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 but we got our attack. Attack from the left. Go for his hands. Use both hands. Aim to destroy. His face incandescent with rage, Asaka fields my heavy blow. With my, fields? As if he fends off? I'm not sure what that's saying. With me glued so tightly to him, his sword loses most of its lethal effectiveness. If he doesn't push me off or fall back, he can't launch a proper attack. Our shoulders ram against each other. We use technical foot maneuvers and struggle to gain advantage over the other. I win with a landslide in terms of numbers of moves made. I can use both hands while his are occupied with his sword. My onslaught of attacks is incessant and overbearing. Asaka takes his hands off his sword. As I seize the opportunity to take a step closer, I realize he's luring me in. His bare hands slam into my chest with all the force of heavy artillery. My legs are ripped from the ground. My back rams into a tree trunk and everything goes white. Before his sword has even touched the ground, he picks it up again. Fetch! As he takes a powerful stride forward. Give up? What? Well, then what happens? As he takes a powerful stride forward, he aims a horizontal thrust at me. A pure, unrepentant killing move. I don't have time to dodge it. As I go limp, Asaka steps onto the discolored earth, stained with my blood. It's just like how I unconsciously chose a technique suitable for taking down a helicopter. The blood I shed was all a temporary weapon. It can become my own little blood pet, laying in wait to ambush the enemy and tear into them. I knew that to be true, which is why I decided to let him make me bleed. Oh, fetch. He wouldn't know. He's never used that technique before in front of him, so he wouldn't know. From the bloodstain, infinite needles rise up and pierce through Risaka's legs all the way through his femur. Fetch me. My body moves forward on its own like it knew this would happen. With no hesitation, I body slam him. A sword of coagulated blood rises from my right hand and stabs deep into his chest. Oh man. I knew it was likely, but I kind of hoped he would be able to get out of this. This time, his sword falls to the ground for good. The blood disintegrates, and Asaka crumbles to the ground, landing on his back. Even though it must be obvious that he's fatally wounded, he wears a calm expression, almost resembling a bitter smile.
Dewa.
He sits up and addresses me as if we just reached the end of training.
ここまでとしよう。
Oh no! He was like the coolest guy. He was so, I remember how, like, when we first met him, and I was like, this dude's so cringy. I was like, really, I kind of found him annoying. And then you discover his, like, who he is and what he's capable of, and he's like, oh, that's pretty cool. But even here in this story, like, he was the only person that was really giving him a chance. He had faith. He was friends with Kotarou when he had no one else. This guy wasn't just a mentor. He was like a father. Like a father that Kotarou never actually really had because his father was off Martel group. And he just had to stab him in the chest. Seems like his true feelings. I fall to my knees next to him. I'm not capable of standing. When Mr. Isaka spoke, I looked at his, like, it looked like he'd aged 20 years all at once.
すみません。江坂さん、ごめんなさい。俺は卑怯者です。
これらは君の力かね。
はい。
驚かされることばかりだ。
Yeah.
馬鹿し合いでも立ち合いでも君の勝ちだ。
俺、卑劣なことをして。
何を言う。高潔であるなら弱者でもできる。だが勝つことは強者にしかできん。君は強者だよ。胸を張りたまえ。
Even now he's being nice.
良き手駒になってほしかったが。
江坂さん、俺ずっと裏切ってて。
教えてくれ。君は結局ガイア主義者だったのかね。
No, I betrayed them too.
いえ、どちらでもないです。俺はガイアとガーディアンの闘争を摘み取るために動いていました。
He's like a triple agent.
あなたたちが鍵と呼ぶものを守りながら。
なんと鍵の守り人だと。
鍵は人の未来を望んでいました。力を浪費し続ける2つの組織はそのままにはしておけませんでした。
そうか。
His gaze turns distant.
組織に限界を感じていた。独断専行の気質、内部分裂、足の引っ張り合い。
He's right. That's exactly what bothered me about him.
協調性など望むべくもなかった。力なき者だけが有機的に連携することを謙虚に学んだ。
Oh, that's kind of a fun idea. The prospect of like, it takes weakness in order to make cooperation because you learn that you can't rely on yourself, which is the crux of what makes superhumans superhumans, that they're like, I will do it myself attitude. And they can't work together very well because they're all chefs. Too many cooks in the kitchen kind of thing. And he's saying like the strength we could have had if we'd just been humble enough to work together.
だから才能の乏しい者に目をかけた。そうした者が劣等感をバネに大きな結果を出すことは珍しくなかったからな。
He said those who struggle are often the ones that rise.
しかしだとすると超人とは時代遅れの存在だったのかもしれんな。怪物と英雄はとうにいらなかったのだと。
それは違います。 力の使い方を間違っていただけなんです。我々は停滞していた。それだけのことだったんです。
そうだと報われるが。鍵をどうとする？
俺の最後の仕事、鍵に見せます。それで滅びを諦めてくれるなら、人は可能性をつかむことができるでしょ
う。But if she won't, it doesn't matter anyway. It would have ended.
そうか。それなりの考えはあるということだな。ならば、よしとしよう。敗北もたまにはいい。今まで認めがたいと思っていた。
江坂さんたちのしたこと。
Thank you.
俺のしてきたことは。
Sorry,
そういうプランです。
I clicked too early for him. We won't waste this. I can't find any other words to offer him.
せめて、そう願う。さあ、もう行きたまえ。この通り、致命傷だが。
The sweat beating on his forehead and his ragged breathing indicates how close he is to his last moments. He probably only has a little bit longer.
どうした？自分の目的があるのだろう。なら行きたまえ。
あなたから教わったたくさんのこと。俺、忘れません。
What a terrible road he has to walk. He's had to destroy everything, and himself included.
ありがとうございました。
ああ、行け。
Mr. Osaka coughs hoarsely deep in his throat. Immediately, I jump to my feet and sprint off. I run with my back straight, not wanting to give off an ungraceful impression. Mr. Isaka doesn't want me to sit by his deathbed, so I quicken my pace and leave him there, without looking back once. Okay. I need to stop. I was kind of thinking like to just plow on, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to really immerse myself in the next part. I'm just kind of in this emotional wreck state, which, I mean, granted, that's how most people consume this. I imagine a lot of you don't stop routinely when you're reading a visual novel. I do, even when I'm reading in private. Like, I hit points where I'm just like, nope, I need to step away. I need to go breathe. So I'm going to go do that. Gosh. It just hurts. It just hurts so much. Saka was so cool. And now I'm guessing, not the end, but we're getting there. Now we have to stop Gaia. We have to stop the choir. If we have any hope. I feel like it's already too late though. We gotta try. Hey. I'm just in my own headspace right now. I don't know if there's much to say. I already said it. I'm just gonna go. Sorry. I normally try and have something eloquent to post at the end of this, but I feel like I'm kind of spent right now. So thank you for being here. Hope you enjoyed. We really are kind of reaching to the end. I don't know 100% obviously, but I'm guessing we only have 1 or 2 parts left. I think next part will probably be whatever we do to destroy Gaia. And then after that, either like something else we have to do before the end, or maybe it'll just be the end then. I don't know. I'll have to see. Hopefully I have the strength to keep going. As in like make a decent long video and not leave it on too huge of a cliffhanger. But yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate you here, especially the patrons and members. It's just been it's insane. It's just insane that this is what we've been doing. But thank you. I appreciate you, your support, comments, and everything. Thanks for being here. It means the world to me that you're a part of this channel, and that what you say is making such a big difference. You take care of yourself. Have a good rest of your week, and until next video watching me, or ever see me in next, I'll see you there.